In the back alleys of Lowtown, you can find extraordinary things. Priceless tomes of knowledge can be bought with a handful of gold. The chant of Archon Levias, a whole chapter of the Midnight Compendium. Some of these books were thought lost forever, and these are no forgeries. I verified their authenticity myself. The fences have no inkling that what they're selling has value. Where did these books come from? After several failed attempts, I got my answer underneath the city. There is a hive of hidden passages in Kirkwall's sewers. Now and then a lucky sewer rat comes across an unlooted chamber, and then a cache of ancient Tevinter relics spreads through the black market. We must search below the city. Underneath a cobblestone with curious markings faintly glowing, it is signed the Band of Three. Hello, and welcome to the 13th session of Victory, Vigilance, and Sacrifice. This tabletop role-playing game uses the Dragon Age video game setting developed by BioWare and the officially licensed tabletop role-playing game published by Green Ronin. Thanks also to Incompetech, aka Kevin MacLeod, for creating the wonderful music you'll hear with our game. Incompetech can be found through the Roll20 app, which we will also be using. As a content note, the Dragon Age setting is not a nice place. Content warnings persist across this chronicle for war violence, sickness, undead, and terrible choices made in terrible circumstances. We employ the X card for player safety. And so, tonight, join us in telling the story of the Fourth Blight. First, Wardens. Tell us and the audience who you are and what your warden is all about.
Hello, everybody. My name is Steve. My pronouns are he, him. My face is not on stream tonight, but my lovely voice will be. Tonight I am playing Jurgen, the Tranquil Mage.
Hello, one and all. I am Devin. You can find me online at Sword of Sullied, and tonight I am playing Garrick, the Vengeful Murder Grey Warden. Except not murder, except for those Templars that one time.
Templar Savage coming.
Hi, everybody. I am Brody, they, and you can find me at the Rabba1 on the Burning Bird app. Tonight, I will be playing Harold Wynn, the very well-behaved alien edge elf.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ben Ravensdale. Tonight I'm going to be playing Raylath, the Elven Mage Apostate turned Grey Warden.
Excellent. Thank you all. As for me, I'm your game runner / the maker. You can call me Rachel. I'm she, her. You can find me at Stolen Fires pretty much everywhere on the internet, including the Burning Bird app, along with Instagram and YouTube and whatever else the new social media is du jour. Anyway, you can also find previous episodes of this show and other shows run on the channel on YouTube, where we would love your likes and subscribes on our trek to 1,000 subscribers. We would also appreciate your subscription to this channel, but unlike Twitch, subscribing on YouTube is free. So, that out of the way, normally now is when we would do the recap. However, life gremlins attacked last week, so we are down one full recap. But from the game runner, you dealt with your sick, blighted griffins as humanely as possible. It was painful for you on a personal level, and certainly a little inconvenient because now you've got to walk from place to place instead of being able to fly. But on the whole, largely unbeknownst to your characters, you have likely saved the entire species for future generations of wardens. The blight has stopped spreading amongst the griffins, and unless someone else tries to start it up again, the majority of the herd will be saved. However, putting down your beloved griffins was not the absolute worst of it. You came across another squad of Grey Wardens under attack by Darkspawn. And so, of course, you rescued them, but at great cost. Galen Redbow fell in battle and was cremated alongside his faithful griffin Arrow. Felice, his new dwarven girlfriend, lover, they weren't really together long enough to really define what was going on.
Lovers in
Anyway,
the night.
I'm sorry?
Lovers in the night.
Oh. Yes. Anyway, poor Felice is inconsolable and a little unsure on what she should do now, because she is a dwarf who has come to the surface, and in dwarven culture that means something. She does hope to find a new life, however, in Kirkwall. Speaking of, you arrived at the White Walls of Kirkwall, the former slave city of the Tevinter Imperium, to see just about 100 Antivan and Ravani refugees massed outside the gates, being denied entry by a mix of Templars and city guard. Overall, the Guard and the Templars seem sympathetic to the refugees' plight. However, they are under orders and cannot let in all the refugees. As Grey Wardens, of course, you are permitted inside. And a few lucky other people that you've managed to claim as your assistants and support staff. So.
Wonder who did that.
Indeed. So you had a chance to speak with the Knight Captain of the Templar Order, Knight Captain Otto Tullio, and his second in command, Sir Halvard, who has taken his leave to arrange a meeting with you and Viscountess Elena Stanhope, the current ruler of Kirkwall. And so, before we begin, are there any further questions, anything more you want to establish as you're entering the city?
Do we have names for the the apostate and her husband?
You know, let me open my name generator tab, and then we will.
Okay.
Definitely not Hawk.
All right, we're going to call them Oscar and Pietra.
Thank you. Otherwise, no, I have no questions.
No.
Nothing offhand.
Could you give us the Viscountess's name one more time?
Elena Stanhope.
Oh yeah.
And I will put that in the Discord for you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
So it sounds like we've managed to subvert the rules slightly. But anything bigger is going to take a lot more effort. So let's head in and see what other things we can arrange.
All right.
We were also informed at the end of the last session that Commander Hubble was killed, right?
Yes. So, what happens is you see a Grey Warden courier come running up to you. And he's got some papers in his hands. And he is calling Warden Commander Garrick! Warden Commander Garrick!
Commander? Over here? Commander?
You're he's a little out of breath because he's been you're Garrick, right?
I'm Garrick.
You're
Grey
Warden
Warden.
Commander now. Hubble fell, overwhelmed by Darkspawn. Here.
Garrick takes the papers and his face just kind of reads them.
Okay, so
It.
Congratulations, Warden Commander.
Like you're ever going to listen to me.
well, now you have to. He's your commanding officer. So.
Garrick, tell me to do something real quick.
I'm sorry?
Garrick, tell me to do something real quick.
Stand on your toes and do a pirouette.
No. Okay. That felt right. You are in command. Got it.
Do we need to be looking into the situation back at the encampment that Commander Hubble was in charge of?
Yes, Commander. Do we need to go back to the encampment and see if there's a situation there that needs resolving, Commander?
I look to the one that just dropped off the mail.
Oh. Well, everyone who survived, they're heading towards the safe house in Orlais.
How many survived?
Maybe 1 out of 5? 2 out of 5?
Was it a rout or just a costly victory?
You see him just like have this moment of existential horror. I'm not sure.
How many were there?
Well, most of the Darkspawn there died, but
No, how many
Grey Wardens?
were in the camp?
oh, 20 maybe?
Okay, that's bad, but not catastrophic.
And 20 out of that 4 lived? Or is that what was left?
Look, Hubble gave me these and told me to give them to you. When the tide turned, I think...
Kid. And Harold will actually like kind of gently take him by the shoulders and look at him. Breathe. In. Out. In.
Yeah, no, I've been running ever since.
Yes. You're safe.
Is there water?
Yes.
I'll take off of my own skin, give it to him.
You're safe. Take a breath. Take a second. You'll be more useful if you've had a moment. Better?
Alright, so he takes a moment, drinks the water, like pours some over his face.
While he's doing that, I will grab something for him to like sit on.
Okay, yeah, there's like sacks and barrels and crates abounding. If you bring him into this city, there's also like benches every now and then.
Right. Wherever he met us is kind of, I think, where we're dealing with this. So I will literally just like, I'm bringing things to him. All right. Start from the top.
Right. I was marching with Commander Hubble and the other wardens. And we were trying to get to the capital in Orlais, and then just from the east, just darkspawn, a lot of them. And so we started fighting, but then there was the second wave, and Hubble tried to call the retreat, but there were too many. And at some point, he grabbed the papers that Garrick is now reading, and probably with his oh shit face on. Uh, said assume he was dead, and it's you now, Warden Commander.
Did any of the wardens who got away, were they heading toward Valroyo?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So Valroyo and Orlais itself is not going to be completely surprised by Darkspawn in their territory.
I don't think so, no.
Okay, that's good. Did the Darkspawn come from the ground, or did they come from out of nowhere? Did you see them? Did you guys see them coming?
They came from the east.
Okay. And at that, just kind of like put a head on his shoulder, keeping him calm. We even give him a little bit of like field of ration just so he has something to chew on for a minute. And we'll look to the commander.
Okay. So, all other issues aside, this is the new issue. Point at the paper.
Share it, sir.
I point at the paper. So,
Wait. I'm gonna make sure that there aren't people standing around watching us now.
I mean, everyone has their own problems. They do not have time to eavesdrop, and like, they look at you with your warden armor, like your warden armor with the dried blood on it, and they're like, "Oh shit, I got something to do over here."
It's one of those like I still do the like as the social person in the group. I realize us talking about this openly in earshot of a whole bunch of civilians might. So I take a moment to make sure there aren't people listening by accident or intent.
Oh,
Sure.
now you're worried about not spreading information. What has happened to you?
Look, I've lost a friend, and now we've lost a commander, and you're in charge. You're gonna need all the help you can get.
Fair enough.
Because the last time we talked, you were looking forward to committing suicide.
Not gonna lie. That hasn't slipped very far.
Yeah, but now you gotta make sure that other people don't follow you.
I know.
And you're responsible for the lives of others.
Yeah, on that note, guess we gotta refresh some seals in here, or else something bigger and badder than a blight is going to make its way out. So, this is our issue. And, where do we find a mage that does blood magic? Looking at the Templars.
I know. I look at the noob.
So is it just the wardens who are talking? So like just the PCs?
Yeah, I would not be comfortable with Templars in earshot.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not exactly a Templar conversation.
Yeah. So, Ralath, you didn't necessarily tell us what kind of magic you do.
I focus on spirits, with a little bit of dabbling in other disciplines, but not blood magic. That's a step too far.
Oh, sorry. Couldn't even have done the joining. They specified. So, not a warden.
Not a warden, but a mage
that does blood magic.
Would I know of any like rumors of like fellow apostates or people on the run from the Templars?
So you would have, you would know rumors, certainly, of like, hey, that guy I met a couple years ago who was, probably a blood mage. You don't know of any in Kirkwall.
Commander, could I recommend we take this to a slightly less public location, as the conversation might be relevant to Kirkwall ears?
Good idea, Private.
All right, so are you just gonna hide in an alley? Or are you gonna look
I mean,
for
I think we need to
rooms?
find a room, so we might as well do that and
Okay.
have the conversation there.
All right, well, if you're not too precious about the bedbug ratio in your room, kitten.
It has a form, and it's
Aw.
Well, honestly, the
Uh,
more bedbugs there are, the more protein we get.
oh God. Anyway, so the
on a
name.
scale of an alienage hovel to the Antivan Palace. What are we talking?
So there is a place. It is on the outskirts of the alien age called the Hanged Man.
That sounds appropriate, both thematically and for cameos.
Okay. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about cameos. Anyone you could meet at the Hangman will be born for like 400 more years.
Yeah, but it says something that the bar existed that long ago.
Can we requisition a room here, or do we have to pay for it?
You could, but I think it's still better to pay for it if we can.
I was just gonna pay for it.
Also, these are not people with a lot of money, so taking up rooms that
No, I know. I'm just asking because I don't know what the.
So I think it by right of conscription, a Grey Warden can essentially requisition anything that
Yes.
exists for the sake
Okay,
of
so not
Yes.
so not just people, but other stuff as well. Okay, good to know.
Yeah, you
we
could
can
be like, all
requisition
of
a
your
beat.
horses are ours now, or so yeah, so essentially you will be able to because one of the things that you need is the silverite, which can resist the blight. And so once you find it, you can tell the people who have it, okay, that's ours now.
It's entirely.
However, like there's always the political impact to consider. Like you could walk up to the Viscountess right now and say, we are conscripting you personally, Viscountess Elena Stanhope, to come fight the Blight, and she has to come with you.
But
So if we really, 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 really don't like somebody,
Yes.
we could.
So
Okay, all right.
requisition enough kings and queens of places, and you might find it very hard to get an audience with them because they're elsewhere.
Yeah, well, and like, okay, so you conscripted the Viscountess, who takes her place in leading the city. So it's actually more common for recruiters to roll up on like the public gallows and be like, "Don't kill them, I'll take them."
What do you mean? More likely, I wasn't.
Recruiting is the cream of the crop. Got it.
I wasn't slated for execution for attempted murder of nobility in Valroyo.
I mean, we haven't heard Jurgen's, backstory yet, but between the two of us, I'm the good one. I wasn't a criminal before I was taken in.
I wasn't a criminal. That I was not accused of the right crime.
You are aware of my backstory. I was a Grey Warden before now. Now I am a Grey Warden of the now. That's all.
That's right, buddy.
Anyway, since all of us are legally up on the up, let's go to the shady place near the alienage.
the Hanged Man.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, I have absolutely no objection to that. So, are we getting one room for all of us, including the people we brought in with us, or?
Actually, with that, because I've got 3 elves, right?
I think that's what was said last time. Yes.
I've got 3 elves, and you've got a couple. So
Mhm.
we should probably get at least 3 rooms.
Agreed. I'll happily pay for Pietro and Oscar.
I guess I technically have enough random scratch as a Grey Warden to cover the other room. I honestly, it's a question of, hey guys, do you want a room, or are you just gonna go find some cousins in next door?
How much is a room?
Good question.
So it is a couple copper pennies a night. So it's nothing that's gonna break your bank.
So I pull out a couple silver and pay for everybody.
Okay. So the Hanged Man, and you can tell how it's got its name because it's got this big carved wooden door that has a stylized man hanging upside down with the legs in the weird little hanged man position. And so it's middling quality. It's not terrible, but it's not luxurious. The beds are clean. The ale is not brewed with mushrooms, which is probably a really nice break for most of you. Uh, and you do have a significant amount of privacy. So, how many of the NPCs are you involving in this conversation?
Honestly, I tell the 3 elves, look, you don't have to stick around. If you need cover, you've got it. But if you're willing to help out a little bit, I might have some. There might be some things that you guys can help us with.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We're Grey Wardens now.
Not quite yet, unless you really want to be.
I mean, you can include them in the order as so like what's the saying that you need like 10 admin people to like support one soldier in the field?
So you can be auxiliary units.
Yeah.
Axillary
Okay. Look,
wardens.
I don't want you to actually feel like you have to do anything. I did that. I got you in because points of the ears. Like, it's not like anybody else is gonna show you kindness.
Oh no. We've been conscripted. We know how it goes.
Okay. Well, you know what? For the moment, I think we need to do a little bit of discussion and planning as the higher ups. But I'll loop you in once we know what we need. Otherwise,
Absolutely.
go take a nap, take a bath, whatever you got.
Oh, we'll polish your armor.
I like it's made of leather.
Yeah, but like it's got like crusty darkspawn blood on it and like stains, so they will happily help out while you have this discussion.
Okay, I'll give him my armor.
Okay.
I am going to just ask Pietra once I've got them in their room away from everybody else. Um, do you have a particular type of magic that you pursue?
Oh, well, I've tried healing, but I'm not very good at it. I'm I'm okay with elemental stuff. I'm trying to figure out how to shapeshift. That's difficult, but I'm making progress.
All right. So no, there's no judgment here. I'm simply asking. You haven't been delving into blood magic.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
As I said, no judgment. I just need to know everything going on if I'm to properly help you find someplace safe. So, all right. Well, feel free to remain here. You've been paid for at least several nights, and I'll be in touch before we leave, if not before.
Yeah,
Keep a
we'll
low
go help
profile.
we'll go help the elves.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll go back to the others. I was hoping we had a convenient blood mage with us, but apparently not.
I'm not gonna make it that easy on you.
As a side note, anybody that is like leaving and going about the town, we are just gonna let them know, and if you happen to hear anything about Silverite, just let us know.
Who do you tell this to?
Just all of our little squad that is currently just carousing.
Okay.
Just, so that they know we're looking for it. That's it.
Okay.
What is this exactly?
What is what?
Silverite.
Yeah, is it like a material?
Yeah, like a metal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Light resistant. Has good anti-magical biotic properties.
Yeah.
Antimicrobial. Got it.
Anti-bladotic.
Okay.
Biotic. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Works.
Is it? This is out of character question. Is it common for people to like hoard that stuff to try and like profit off of it, or is there a reason people would hide it from the Grey Wardens rather than just like handing it over if they have it?
So it's been a while since the third blight, so there really hasn't been a reason to hoard it until now. Now everybody who has some has a really good reason to want to keep it.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so, you would know that apart from the Grey Wardens, the organization that uses Silverite in their weapons are the Templars.
Well, that's easy then. We just go to the Templars and be like, "Hey, give us those swords. We're out."
Right, and then when
Perfect.
then when they ask what we need it for, we'll say, a thing that also involves blood mages, and it'll go fun.
Did we ever deal with those weapons of theirs?
I don't recall you saying you actually knocked off any of the symbols from the swords of the Templars, only the armor.
I don't remember if I wrote down the swords. Either way, we need
Just
ingots.
the armor.
Ingots. Yeah, we need ingots.
So also, are any of
Okay.
you politically connected, politically plugged in?
I do have contacts as a talent.
Okay, cool. Give me.
I do have heraldry as a knowledge.
Yeah, give me a cunning check, please.
Okay.
This would be hard, so it's a difficulty of 15.
Would heraldry or musical lore come into play?
Neither.
That's unfortunate. Alas, no. 13.
Whoops. Okay, cool.
It was
Carry
close.
on.
It was close.
You were close. So, alright, in that case, the scene is yours.
Alright, so it sounds like we're going to have to hit two very opposite sides of the problem. Unless you think the Templars have a blood mage in their custody that we could conscript.
I'm kind of wondering if they do.
Yeah, it's possible.
Why do we need a blood mage in particular? Just
So this entire ritual, which apparently seals a dread darkspawn, which is like a archdemon but worse. and we can't kill it. And it will prevent it from getting out and killing us all.
Maker, why do I
Reread.
know where this is going?
Look at the paper again. Yeah, renew seals. Slaughter every last one of us.
I needed to give you something to do in Kirkwall.
Nothing like DLC. Okay.
So yeah, and a few ingots of silverite, and blood mage that has never joined. So stuff we can get off the shelf at the grocery store.
So it sounds like we've got two directions.
Or one direction
Or
in
one.
a very lucky Templar outfit.
So here's what I'm thinking. And Commander, you can tell me to shut up at any time. But remember, just like the right of conscription, you need to use it correctly. But so one option is to actually go to the Templar command and see what they got, and it could conscript it from them. On the other hand, there's an underground in this city. There has to be. Too many people here. We can see if maybe we could at least shake loose a blood mage through unofficial channels.
So what I'm hearing is you want to go underground today, while I get to deal with all the squeaky clean Templars up top.
See, what's interesting is I don't think any of us are actually suited to deal with the Templars.
I can deal with them.
But
Knight Commander.
yeah,
Suited or not.
you might not want to wear your armor when you go talk to them, though.
Yeah.
So we had a run-in with some Templars a while back, and I think we engaged in a kind of right of conscription that would not be approved of. It was
Are we really just telling him?
Yeah. He's a Grey Warden. He's one of us.
I think even if they were to recognize that I only just joined your unit, I don't think they would make much distinction between your guilt and my guilt for whatever it was you might have done.
Oh, we basically slaughtered a bunch of Templars who had captured one of us.
This was shortly after we learned that. I look over at Jurgen. He was tranquiled, even though they knew. So we might have been a little hot.
Yeah, they tranquiled a Grey Warden mage.
He's the one that was captured?
No, we learned about him, and then our friends got captured.
Ah, I see.
And yeah, they were going to do the same thing to our friend, who's also a mage.
So we might have just...
Well, this Knight Captain Tulio didn't seem to recognize the lot of you, so I find it unlikely that word of this incident has reached them.
Oh, yeah, no, but see my armor. See how nice
Templar.
and shiny it is, and how unremarkable it is.
It's Templar armor. So I'm just saying, if the Knight Commander wishes to go speak with the Templars, should probably not wear armor that they might clock as one of theirs.
Which means I get to
I
put on
do have a
airs.
history. I do have a history of dealing with the Templars, so if it's something you'd rather avoid entirely, I can go handle that. I also know what
Wait
to
a
look
minute.
for in
I'm in
mages.
charge now. I can
You
do
are.
that.
Yes, you could delegate. But again, I will remind you, much like with the power of
Delegation.
conscription, be careful not to overuse it.
Yeah, but I can make other people do the menial crap. I can start to see why I would like this.
Just remember, some of us do like to make sure that those in power are reminded
Nope,
too.
nope, the creeping powers of responsibility over other people's lives came back into it.
Yep. Good, because I was about to stab you.
I did not realize it was my own life too.
I don't like people in power thinking that they can do whatever they want. Just a reminder.
I mean, what's the point of having power otherwise?
To do things that need doing
Power underwhelming.
and to benefit others who might not have that power.
A political stance that I agree with, but one that the merits of which may not be ideal to debate at this point in time. Knight Commander, would you like me to go and speak with Tulio and the Grey Warden and the Templars, or would you prefer to do that yourself?
We could
Oh,
also
no.
do this as a group.
We could, although that leaves other avenues unexplored. So I believe,
Although
I don't believe we're under any threat here. So splitting up may be our best option.
I'm gonna say let's split up because this thing didn't tell me how quickly the seals were failing, just that they're failing. So let's presume that this requires an expeditious nature.
It seems like Knight Commander, perhaps you and our mage might be best suited to go speak with the powers that be. While I go say hello to some cousins.
Damn it all to hell. You're right. Go have fun. Bring back something useful.
Do what I can. But also, thank you for your trust, and I will remind you, you are allowing me to run free.
Jurgen, go with him.
Aren't there several Grey Wardens with us?
Yes, you've the Grey Wardens who are with you.
Yeah. Anything that they should be doing?
Well, yeah, you can assign them to do stuff if you would like.
Allegation.
But a suggestion, sir? And yeah, Harold cannot say "sir" without that shit-eating grin. He just any time he addresses you with any sort of formal title or respect, it is absolutely like cynical. Like there's a undertone of "fuck you."
Oh yeah.
Okay, sir. Perhaps it might be worth sending some of our people to go see what they can learn in the markets and other places of gathering. Might be good to have our own, just to spread the ears wide, and maybe silverites being sold in the market. Who knows?
Fair enough. Isn't that kind of what I said I was doing earlier with anybody that was leaving? This is
If
just
I
me saying
recall
it.
correctly, you didn't give them specific orders.
Okay, I did say anybody that's going out to check for it. But yeah, sure. Go out, carouse, do that.
How safe do I think these refugees that came in with us are going to be? Like, is it this kind of thing where like people from Kirkwall are going to be like, "Oh, darn refugees! I don't care if they're with the Grey Wardens. Let's get rid of them."
I mean, that's always a risk, especially when the city is scared about an oncoming blight. Is it something that will absolutely assuredly happen? Probably not, but it is a risk.
Hey, in times of crisis, when people are fleeing from social, military, or economic danger, everyone who is in a place of safety is absolutely happy to welcome everyone without issue.
Maybe we should leave one of the 3 Grey Wardens behind to keep an eye on our guests, just to be safe.
I'm a little worried about the girl, just because.
I don't know that I would have told any of the rest of you that she's an apostate. That's not really my secret to tell. So, Just FYI.
And I wouldn't tell anybody that mine are elves because they obviously are.
Is there a reason for me to think that somebody would need to stay behind to protect people in this area?
They'll be safe as long as it's daylight out.
That does not inspire a whole heck of a lot of confidence.
I thought that was the issues for the game that follows this one.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, then I'll just leave and kind of make sure that everyone around has the general idea that the Grey Wardens are in-house, remain at such a level of peace that sort of...
Okay.
The cops are next door!
Okay. All right, cool. So, where is Garrick heading out?
Garrick is going to be a big boy and deal with the Templars.
All right. Who are you taking with you?
I am taking... Forgive me, I cannot remember your character's name offhand.
Raylath.
Raylath. And I'm letting Harrowin go down and deal with the fun things. Jurgen is keeping an eye on him so that he is not having quite such a fun time.
All right. So, let's deal with that first. You visiting the Templars. So, you go back to where you met Tulio, and you see him at his post. He's got a couple younger Templars around him, and he's generally just doing his best to try and stop a riot from breaking out at the city gates.
Thank you, Mr. Tulio. A moment of your time.
Oh, yes, of course, Grey Warden. How can I help?
Oh, they're in preparation for a ritual that we need to attend, but we're still trying to find a couple of items. I was wondering if I could give your assistance.
Whatever I can.
Looking to see if there's any silverite on hand.
Oh, that's a tall order. We've got some, not much. What we have, I'm afraid we need to protect the city.
Know of anywhere else we could find some? I would not wish to take from your own safety supply.
Right, well, I'm told, well, the supplies stopped since the blight was on, but there's a mine up in the hills where we used to get ours.
Okay.
It's supposed to be dangerous, though.
I might have some willing fellows.
Well, willing is one thing. You're going to want warriors. The mine's a dangerous place. Lots of workers have died there.
Fair enough. Even for some Grey Wardens.
Oh, well, no, I don't want to cast aspersions on your abilities. They call it the Bone Pit for a reason.
Alright. Well,
Would it be possible for you to spare a few silverite weapons that we would return to you when we return successfully from the mines?
So he looks to one of his attendants who starts shuffling papers and then says, I think we could spare a few swords. 2 or 3.
All right, that'll help. Another thing I could use is a manifest of any prisoners you might have, and the reasons for their detainment.
Incarceration.
Oh, we're not like the city guard. We don't really have prisoners.
Oh, really?
I know what some of you think about how we treat the mages, but we keep them contained for their own good and for the good of the city.
As I said, could I get a list?
I'm afraid I don't have that list on me, but you may speak with the first enchanter.
All right. Thank you. I apologize for taking up so much of your time.
Always happy to help the wardens.
That had big NPC goodbye energy. Always happy to help.
Yeah, you can tell that, like, once you started talking about the mages as prisoners, that's when he cooled down.
Yeah.
Okay. So where would you like to go next?
Well, you said that we could talk to the first enchanter.
Yes. So, you are going to have to get to the gallows, which I think you had to leave by the time we got to this description. But so Kirkwall is a city on the edge of the waking sea. And because of where it's positioned, it has been an important and popular trade hub. So when the Tevinter Imperium was ascendant, it was all slaves all the time. And the gallows was the big stone prison. It's kind of like Alcatraz in that they've built this fortress on an island just off the coast. And so you can see it from where you're standing on the walls of Kirkwall. It's just this big, imposing stone tower.
Nice.
Yeah, and so everything about the architecture of Kirkwall seems deliberately designed to make you feel small.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds imposing. I like it. Okay.
Is there a way to get out there?
Oh, yeah, they've got uh ships, boats, ferries, so it's not difficult. So is that where you're headed next?
Yeah. Got any reason why we should go anywhere else? No? Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe you're like, fuck this, we're going to Orlais.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan.
Nothing
All right.
bad will happen if we don't steal the dread dark spawn. It'll be fine. No holes in the sky will open up eventually.
Okay. So,
Let's just leave Kirkwall. This is a silly place.
so while you are navigating your way through the city and like getting the ferry to the gallows, Harold Wynn and Yergin, where are you headed?
Harold was going to just head right into the alienage.
Okay. It is not far from where you are. It's in fact just like a 5-10 minute walk, and then there's the Venedal.
And if there is a place that some elves have gathered for either dice, games of chance, a drink, Harold's gonna go walk right up to it.
Sure. There's a couple idle elves just hanging out by the Venedal, which is this really big tree that grows in the middle of every alienage and is like the one connection that the elves maintain, that the alienage elves maintain to their heritage. Um, so there's a couple elves just sort of hanging out at the roots of the tree, and then there's another elf who has essentially like a rickety wooden table and like a kind of like a moth-eaten awning and is doing their best to sell drinks out of it.
I will go, put down some copper for a drink and just sit down and get something.
Okay. Are you in your warden armor or in any way wearing insignia of being a warden?
Yes.
Okay. So, uh, non warden, pleased to see you.
Pleasure, pleasure. Nice to be back in some place that isn't as pretentious as the rest of the bloody world.
How can I help?
It's
Other than the beer, that is.
probably terrible.
It's okay.
It tastes like home.
I mean, it's better than the mushroom shit they were serving you at Ortontaig.
Yes.
That's right, dwarf beer. I'm
Calling you
dunking
out.
on you. Okay.
Well, I'm in town because of the blight, and I was wondering if there was an elder in the alien age that might be willing to speak with me.
Oh, uh, what do you need?
Have some questions about some things that might not be on the brought to the attention of the people living higher up. And possibly got a need for somebody who might quietly be dabbling in magic.
Oh, well. You don't need to bother the elder about that. What can I help you with?
Well, one, you wouldn't happen to have a lead on some silverite that might have fallen off a cart?
Oh, Silverite. No, not since the mine shut down.
The mine.
It's,
Was it
well,
exhausted or was it from poor management?
oh, no, there's still plenty of Silverite ore up there, so I'm told. But once the blight was on, well, you don't want people going down underground when there's a blight on, right?
I was just in Ortontaig, and I can agree that it can get a little fuzzy down there.
It's a shame it employed, maybe half the young men here.
So there's people around here who know their way in it.
More or less.
Well, I can tell you that we might have. I might be able to get them some employment if they're willing to help us out.
Oh, well, I'm sure they'd be grateful for paid, honest work.
It might even be as far as just making sure we can get into the mine and helping us make sure we don't get lost.
I can get a few young'uns.
The Knight Commander's more than capable of swinging a pick. The Grey Wardens that are here, we don't believe in making other people do work that we can do ourselves. I'm sure the Knight Commander will be happy to do the actual heavy lifting once we get once we get what we need.
That'd be a sight to see.
You know what? I'll make sure that he is there to show how hands-on he is about doing some honest work. As to the other thing, and I do like the dramatic, like looking left, looking right to see if anybody's watching us or listening. And also trying to make sure that if some of the other people hanging out are listening, but trying not to be obvious about it, they can hear me. I need somebody who is familiar with blood magic.
Oh,
And I will actually turn after I say it to see the reaction of the other people hanging around. I'm actually trying to like tease out, like, does one of them get really anxious and look around?
So the bartender does look around a little nervous. Says, you're going to want to talk to Virgil.
Virgil?
Aye. Cat? Jenny wants to be.
Yay.
My cats are participating today. All right. Where can I find this Virgil?
Right, he's not an elf, but he's got. Well, her mother was an elf. But he works out at the docks.
Do you think he would be receptive to some quiet work?
Probably. But no. There's a woman works for him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's not allowed in the alienage anymore. She's very, very cruel.
A cruel woman that works for Virgil. I'm getting the sense that she's the one I might actually need.
I can't answer that question for you. All I can tell you is talk to the woman who works for Virgil down on Smuggler's Row.
Okay. Anything you all need or anything of immediate sharp importance for the alienage?
Well, if the mines were open again full time, that would bring some coin back to the alienage, but you've got more problems than just that, Grey Warden.
True, but I always like knowing what little bonuses we can throw in. See if we can actually help people that deserve being helped.
Oh, well, there is a little bit of worry about the refugees.
About them coming or about not letting them in?
Oh, well, if they let in too many. Well, that's not good for us, is it?
Depends.
Well, refugees, if they're willing to work for elf wages and, well, with that many more mouths to feed in the city, it's only a matter of time until the price of bread goes up.
I do have 3 refugees at the Hanged Man. Elves, all of them. We're willing to work. Can I trust that? Send them your way, you'll find places for them?
Oh, for 3 elves, we can make room for 3 elves. It's if they let all of them in that we're worried.
I don't think that's their interest.
Well, you never know.
I had to tell them that these three elves were part of my contingent in order to get them past the guards.
Well, that's good then. But it's not the elves, it's the humans. It's always the humans, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, humans like having somebody to look down on.
Isn't that the truth? Says topping your drink off. All right. Is there anything else you would like to do in the alienage?
I think I will chat a little bit about my time with the Dalish, just to give them a little taste of the outside. And I think just don't have to play it out, but just making sure to compare the Kirkwall alienage to the Valroyo alienage. And also we'll throw in, you think we have it bad? There's a whole caste system among the dwarves. we might actually if we're good and careful, we might actually manage to get to own our own home in a decent part of town. They can't even leave the bottom.
Yeah, because they've got the tattoos, which means something dramatically different in each culture.
Yes. I from a role playing from a mechanical perspective, I would like to anchor this bartender as one of my contacts.
Okay, absolutely.
So yeah, I will.
So, is there anything else you would like to learn from him?
And are there any other issues going on? Anything that he knows of tensions between the powers that be? How are they dealing with the prospect of blight invasion?
All right, give me a communication roll, and the higher you roll, the more information you'll get.
Okay. So it doesn't invoke any of my specializations or my focuses because I'm not trying to lie to him and he's not an animal.
Are we not all just shaved monkeys?
You know, you say that now, but
All I heard him say is, "I'm not lying to them, and they're not an animal," which means that the only thing he wouldn't lie to is an animal.
so I'm apparently doing the opposite on my rolls today that I did the last game.
Wow.
Oh no.
Only a 12.
With his +5.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So you learn that there's tension between the mages and the Templars, because there's always tension between the mages and the Templars.
What do you mean?
Uh,
There's no point in any of the stories in Dragon Age where that's an issue here.
and so you also learn that the current Viscountess Elena Stanhope, she is in her late 30s, and she is the only child of her parents to survive childhood.
And that's the daughter of the Viscountess? Or
The
that's the
Viscountess herself.
Okay. So she's an only child,
Yeah,
effectively.
effectively, yeah.
Um I will push on that. Is that because of infant mortality, or is that because of suspicious circumstances in which her siblings did not survive?
So one sister fell from a balcony, another one succumbed to a wasting disease, and her brother was set upon by brigands on his way to Starkhaven to pursue a marital alliance there.
Oh yeah, she murdered them.
Oh, well,
I was like, I've been paid to do at least two of those things to somebody before.
so you say that, and the bartender's like, no one can prove anything.
No,
It's
that's
a
why
dangerous thing to talk about.
that's why she's the Viscountess, because she got away with it and is good at it. I have a little more respect for her.
Oh, God.
I mean, might be she needs some itching powder here and there, but hey, you got to respect the game.
I wouldn't tell her that to her face. Terrible accidents happen to the people who insinuate that she had something to do with her siblings dying.
Yes. And
You don't say.
how extensive is her secret spy network in the city?
Oh, I'm sure it's good. Has to be.
Kind of looking around. I bet you there's at least one or two in earshot.
Well, pleasure doing business with you, Grey Warden.
Pleasure doing business with you. Thank you for correcting any misapprehensions I had about whether or not the Viscountess was legitimate. She is clearly deserving of her role and has done nothing to untoward to achieve it. And I will get up, and I think no, I'm gonna go back to the hangman and wait for. Actually, no, I'm gonna go to the docks. Why not? I will leave a note at the hangman that I'm heading to the docks.
Okay, so when you get to the Hanged Man, Felice is there. And she has clearly been to market, and so she's got mostly it's a lot of dried meat, and some vegetables that look, a little tired and wilted. Oh, I learned a few things at the
Oh,
market.
well, why don't you, let's bring the food into the room so that we can put them where they need to go.
So I found if you want to talk to the underground, I learned a little bit about the man who runs it.
What's his name? Okay, please.
Oh, his name's Virgil. He's a surfacer dwarf who sort of brought the Cartas to Kirkwall.
He's a Karta.
Well, I asked what he looked like, and he's got a tattoo. And from the way they described it, I'm pretty sure he killed a noble, and whatever tyke he came from.
I do my best not to kind of be like, this kind of smile that says, I like the cut of his jib.
God.
Okay. So I too have heard of him. Didn't get some of those specifics, but good to know.
And he employs not just dwarves, but also humans and elves and alienage. He's got a spy mistress. Her name's Lavrenti, and everyone seems more scared of her than they are of him.
That makes sense.
Supposedly she's an elf-blooded human. So of course there's rumors she's a mage, but nobody knows for certain.
Was her mother an elf?
I
Is she not allowed in the alienage?
No, I don't think so.
What's her name again?
Lavrenti.
Lavrenti? Well, I think I know where I can find her.
Do you want me to come with you?
You know what? Yeah. See, might be worth kind of going at the angle of fellow surface dwarves.
Oh, well. Don't expect to get a discount on my account.
No, but they might give us a brief second before they try and stab us. Before I leave, I will in fact take off any insignia of being a Grey Warden, except for
Okay.
I think the conscription ale that I'll keep under a cloak.
Mm-hmm.
And some small mark of insignia that I can pull out if I need to.
Sure.
A dwarf, no, an elf going to the alienage isn't that weird, even if they're a Grey Warden. But this one would rather not be as easy to find.
Okay.
How are you at staying at moving quietly?
Oh, I mean, I do all right when I'm underground.
Well, let's go out the back.
Oh, okay.
And before we go, I'll say I will actually go out to the bar. Be like, can I get drinks for? See, there's 3, me, these, food and drink for 7. And we're going to have it in, and I give the room for the 3 guys that I brought in.
Okay.
At which point I will go back and tell them, hey, getting food for 7, all yours, but you have to be loud and boisterous and make it sound like everyone is here, including me.
He, thrust his tits, sure.
Maker's titties, what a plan. If you want, go ahead and sing some of the chants you might have heard from the Chant of Light. I like to sing those around. Just make them think I'm here, if you can.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds good.
And I will Felice. We're gonna stay until they bring the food, and then we're going to slip out. Okay.
Okay. And you can tell when the food arrives that clearly these people are dipping into winter stores.
Yeah, but food in the belly is better than food in storage.
Sure.
So yeah, once they bring it, I make point of being the one who like opens the door with my armor on, laughing, and bring it in. And I sit down and I start eating while the person is bringing it in.
Okay, so what is the point of this deception? What are you hoping to accomplish?
If people are watching,
Uh-huh.
they're going to be looking for an elf with Grey Warden armor, not a random elf who isn't going out the way that's being watched, so that I can slip out to the docks without being followed.
Okay.
I'm trying to ditch a tail.
Okay, sounds good.
All this talk of spies and such, and I'm like, yeah, we're probably being watched.
Okay, cool. Speaking of spies and being watched, we will switch the camera to Garrick and Raylith at the gallows.
It is much livelier than I thought it was going to be.
All right, so you very easily find someone who can ferry you across the bay to the gallows, and just approaching it, it is this imposing stone prison. And the Templars are gonna say it's not a prison, but it's absolutely a prison. And Ralath especially, as you look at this place, you understand that if you weren't a Grey Warden, uh, this could be where you ended up. Stuck behind these walls.
It's funny he says that they don't keep prisoners, but the place certainly looks like a prison, so...
I'm sure he'd say that the storeroom didn't keep any ale.
Just tells us that either he's lying to himself, or he is trying to hide something. If he feels the need to lie to us about how he looks at the whole situation, doesn't really matter. Just something to keep in mind. Either way,
we need to find the first enchanter so we can get the lowdown and see if we can just walk out of here with one more piece to our... No, I don't have any fun way to say this mission name. I'll work on that. So where was the first enchanter?
All right, so you approach. There are some Templars guarding the front door on watch duty. But of course, you're Grey Wardens, and you're like, we're Wardens, let us in. Absolutely. And so one of them will escort you to First Enchanter Sabrina. And so a couple things jump out at you when you first see her that Ralath especially will understand. So Ralath is a Dalish elf. You've got some elaborate face tattoos that were your rite of passage to becoming an adult. And so the dynamic essentially is Dalish clans are led by a mage who gets the title of Keeper. And so, when and the Keepers have apprentices who are also mages, and they essentially lead the clan. They're the core decision makers. And the Templars understand this. They know that essentially Dalish clans are led by apostate mages, and this is part of the reason why the Dalish continue to be nomadic and to stay on the move. because they do not want to get caught by Templars. And essentially, as long as the Dalish don't stay in one place for too long, and as long as they don't do anything to really draw attention to themselves, the Templars mostly leave them alone. I say mostly, because when you meet First Enchanter Sabrina, she clearly has half filled in Velasleen.
What does half filled in mean?
So, like, they were halfway through giving her the tattoo, so it's only half completed.
And that's not something that would normally be done in, like, either you've passed or you haven't.
Yeah, or like,
Mhm.
you can get like the basic tattoo done, and then like add in little cool little frills and fripperies and um
Personalizations.
I'm blanking on the right word, but yeah, personalizations. So she has her
Accents.
Velasleen. Yeah, accents and flourishes. Um, so yeah, it is clear that her tattoos are half completed.
Interesting.
Like somebody actually had to physically stop it in the middle, or she just wasn't able to finish getting them done. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about too. If she's a first enchanter working with the Templars, are all mages working with the Templars tranquil?
No. So,
Okay.
a little bit more of a lore drop. Um, so, um, essentially, uh, in the human religion of the Chantry, one of the tenets is that magic should serve man and not rule over him. Because everyone remembers when the Tevinter Magisters would just exsanguinate just vats of slaves to do their blood magic. Then Andraste rose up, threw them off, and freed all the slaves, including a lot of elves. Hooray! And so now what happens is whenever anyone manifests magic, especially humans, because we've already sort of the Dalish have their own sort of understanding with the Templars. So when humans manifest magic, they're taken to chantries, where they are kept under the careful watch of the Templars. And the Templars' job is if they get into blood magic, kill them. If they start hanging out, if they start making deals with demons, also kill them. And so the claim is that this is how the mages can study their magic in a way that benefits society as a whole. And so sometimes mages are allowed outside, but that is up to the first enchanter and the leader of the Templars to be like, all right, this one, this one can tie their shoes without becoming an abomination, essentially. So,
Okay.
yeah, and so Tranquil happens. So there's mages who are in the Chantry have to go through a rite of passage called the Harrowing, where they're
Mm-hmm.
pretty much sent into the Fey, to the realm of dreams, and they have to resist a demon. And if they fail, they die. And if the first enchanter thinks they're going to fail, they are made tranquil. And so, essentially, if the Templars suspect you, but don't think you deserve to die, they will just make you tranquil instead. And of course, each chantry is different, and it depends on the Knight Commander and the first enchanter who are in charge.
Okay. Thank you. Did you want me to handle this conversation,
Oh yes, this is a fun way to start this off. Yes, please start your conversation with. I'm not exactly sure if she is more like you or Harold.
So she stands up from her desk where she's just got a bunch of papers and books. When the Templar who escorted you up here says, "First Enchanter, you've got visitors." So she looks up. She sees that you're Grey Wardens, because you've got the armor on, right?
But not
And,
Yes.
that armor.
hello. And then notices Rayla and your ears and your own Valgasleep. And to you, she'll say, and Daranatishan, which is the Dalish greeting.
I speak Elven, so yeah, I'll return the basic pleasantries. You know, a little bow, all that stuff.
How can I help?
Well, we're looking to review those held here in the gallows, I believe it was called, and see if there might be any of use to us.
Oh, are you in the mood to conscript some?
Possibly.
Well.
Specifically, we're looking for somebody with a particular penchant for certain magic.
Oh, well. I myself am First Enchanter, so I know a little bit of everything, but I don't know that I'd be very good at killing Darkspawn. There is,
I'm sure you're selling
Jacqueline.
yourself short, and you would probably do quite well at it.
Oh, I've been here for most of my life.
But I apologize. You were saying.
Oh, well, there's Jacqueline. She's quite good at spirit magic. Oh, you might want to consider taking in poor Kennard.
We're looking for something very specific here.
Well, if
Are
you
these
tell
the
me what
names
you're...
of people in your custody or people on your staff?
Oh, they're mages in the circle, so I suppose it's a little bit of one and a little bit of the other. I prefer thinking of them as students.
We're thinking more actual prisoners.
Oh, well, we don't have a whole lot of prisoners. The Templars don't really take anyone captive like that.
Yeah, they told us that too, but we still want to hear their prisoners list.
The only one I can tell you about is Baylor.
And who is Baylor?
Baylor.
Oh, well, he's the closest thing I suppose we've got to a prisoner. The Templars were convinced he'd fail his harrowing. So, well, he's our tranquil quartermaster.
Okay. All right. Well, then perhaps you can point us in the direction of a practitioner of more taboo magic.
You're looking for a blood magician.
Our current needs see us seeking such an individual, yes.
I understand it's permissible amongst the wardens. Oh, well, I understand the theory myself. Better to spot it popping up amongst the other mages, but I've never actually practiced it. You might be able to speak to Jacqueline. She's from Orlais, sent here as a spirit teacher. The Templars are convinced she knows more than she's revealing. I haven't really seen any of the signs in her, though, so I'm not sure. Then again, there's
And
also Kennard. I'm sorry?
no, please go ahead.
Ah, well, he's a bit of a different case. He was a village mage until the Templars caught him and brought him here. He's angry, especially ever since they made Baylor tranquil. I don't know how much he knows, but, well, he was able to hide for at least a decade.
And what sort of magic did you say he specializes in?
Oh, mostly healing.
Hmm. Why do the Templars suspect Jacqueline might know more than she's admitting?
Oh, superstition. It's because she works with, well, it's called spirit magic, so they're convinced that she might become an abomination at any moment.
I'm familiar with that particular prejudice.
Need to get her a look at a bird.
I'm sorry?
Hmm?
No, we need to get her to look at the bird. But anyway, so you didn't say Kennard was a blood mage, but you told us about him. Is there a reason you suspect him?
Well, if I knew for certain that any mage here was practicing blood magic, I'd certainly have to report that to the Templars. Mostly I'm telling you who I think would most appreciate the freedom.
Okay.
Plus, if Kennard is angry, that can lead mages to turning to less socially acceptable paths. And if he was able to avoid the Templars for over a decade on his own, then it's possibly picked up a few things that he's keeping under his hat. So I think we start with him, but that's my instinct.
I like this idea. Start with a hard one.
Oh, all right. So, Sabrina pokes her head out the door and says, could you go find Kennard, please? Bring him here." So you hear someone scurrying off. It'll be a few minutes, I think, before they can track him down. Is there anything else I can do for you?
You wouldn't happen to have a store of silverite floating around?
I don't, but you should talk to the Knight Commander if that's what you're looking for.
We did. I just thought maybe you had a personal store.
I'm afraid I don't.
Well, thank you for your time. If you
We'll
happen
just wait.
across,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you happen across anything else that we might fall into that purview of things we spoke about, please give us a ring.
Well, and so she looks again to Ryla. There's a Dalish clan, I'm told, camped just outside the city.
Did we see them on the way in?
You did not, but you came from the opposite direction.
Okay.
I'm not saying that keepers know blood magic, but they usually know who to ask.
Do you know their keeper by chance? I'm assuming you've had occasion to meet with with this person.
No. It wouldn't be. That wouldn't look good if I tried.
Hmm. And the Templars haven't, considering the fact that they're camped right outside the city walls, and I presume they have been for some time. I'm surprised the Templars haven't made any
They've got their hands
overtures.
full. They've got their hands full with the refugees.
Hmm.
But whenever I talk about trying to visit, they seem convinced I'll run off. I suppose that was true once upon a time, but I've got mages here to look after. I wouldn't want to abandon them.
Mm. I know that feeling now all too well.
I'm gonna look around her office. Like, is it nicely appointed? Like, are these some sweet digs, or is this
So,
the equivalent of a broom closet that she's been stuffed into?
give me perception, and the higher you roll, the more you'll get.
Woo. Okay.
I'm presuming Detect Darkspawn is not going to be a focus that applies.
No.
Would my arcane lore come into play here at all?
Absolutely.
Would a 7 be useful here?
No.
13.
Okay, cool. The one thing that you can tell without having to roll is like, yeah, this is pretty nice. Like she's got like a nice comfy chair, nice big wooden desk, and there's lots of books around. Um so essentially it's what you would expect any sort of administrator's office to look like. So just like lots of books and records, and she clearly has her own organizational system that has nothing to do with any organizational system known anywhere else in the world. But the one thing you do notice is she has a really nice pair of windows. They let in a lot of natural light, very pretty glass. Um, but you notice that they are firmly sealed shut. So there is no way to ever open them. And so that's the one sort of indication like, oh, yeah, this is also a prison. Because the bars on the windows are very, very pretty, but they're still bars.
Your time as a songbird seems to have treated you fairly well.
I suppose it has. They were convinced I was an apostate when I first got here as a young woman. I had to work hard to prove them wrong, but I suppose it paid off in the end.
Did it?
Well, I'm first enchanter. That's not an accomplishment without merit.
No, of course not. You very clearly must be skilled in the arcane, and you're dedicated to those who are learning and studying under you, which is commendable. But first among prisoners is still a prisoner.
Oh. Isn't what the Chant of Light says that we're here to serve mankind? I serve as best I can from where I am.
It always struck me as odd that the Chantry believes that locking magic away in their facilities and using it for their purposes somehow is serving mankind. It seems to me it serves more directly the Chantry itself. which I suppose is a small subsection of mankind, but not exactly, I think, the point of that particular tenet.
Are you trying to convince me to run away with you, Warden?
Sadly, as Grey Wardens, we are encouraged against taking on any sort of romantic partnerships. So more would be a matter of running away to a location that we happen to share in common. But
Oh, they'd find me. Do you
but
know about
if you wore the gray, then you wouldn't have to worry about it.
do you know about the phylacteries?
Do I? I don't know.
Have you ever been in like a circle, been like exposed to circle mage life?
No, he's Raylith has pretty much tried to avoid that at all costs.
Okay, then probably not.
Okay.
It happens when we go through our harrowing. The Templars take some of our blood and preserve it. So if we ever run away, try to escape, they'll find us. I tried to run away when I first came here. The last time our clan camped near Kirkwall, a few elves from the Alien Age escaped, came to join us. Their humans were displeased to lose them. And in revenge, the Templars came and took me and another elf. I did try to run away once or twice, but they always found me in the end.
Well, should you ever desire,
This isn't the life I would have chosen, but it's the one I've got.
well, there is another choice before you, should you decide to pursue it. To be fair, it's got its own limitations and restrictions and rules, but it's got a much better view, and it changes regularly, so there's something to be said for that.
Well, I'm afraid I've become a little too much of an indoor girl, but I'll take it under advisement.
All right. Well, I believe
Well, and here comes Kenny.
perfect.
So, I think right now is a good moment to take our mid-show break, because we are running a little past 4:30. So I hope you all are having a good time. I'm having a great time. And so we're just gonna take a quick hydration break, about 10 minutes. So we will see you all 5 o'clock Pacific time.
The best time.
8 o'clock for the weirdos. And we return. So, you just had a interesting conversation with Sabrina, the first enchanter. But we are going to switch the camera back momentarily to Harold and Jurgen. So, and if I recall, you were headed to the docks to try and find Virgil.
That is correct. Or his person that they're more scared of.
Okay. And it's a good thing that you bring Felice. Because you're wandering through the docks and it's incredibly busy, incredibly chaotic. There's a lot of goods being moved back and forth, stevedores and day laborers loading cargo, unloading cargo. Stevedores. You adores.
I adore.
Who adores?
I adores.
He adores?
I adores. You adores.
There's only one
Me
Steve
adores.
here.
Right. I adore. You adore.
Stevedore. Very opaque door, though.
All right. So, yes, day laborers and Jurgenadors and essentially a lot of chaos going on. But then Felice is like, wait, no, this way, this way. She noticed some sort of marking or graffiti that you just completely missed. And so she leads you. Again, like somehow she figures out which alley to go through, and which staircase to take down. And you end up in what looks like a half abandoned warehouse. I say half because there's still crates and barrels and bales and such piled up, but it's all clearly contraband.
So it's a warehouse that doesn't want people to think it's a warehouse.
Yeah, or just the ones like, hey, city guard, you're not going to notice this one, right? Because of how it's structured and built. And so, there's a tough-looking dwarf without a face tattoo, but with a very cleanly shaven face. Just looks like he's hanging out. And so Felice approaches and says, "Hey, we want to talk to Virgil." And so he looks to the both of you, or because Jurgen's there as well. So he looks to the three of you. Like, Virgil don't want visitors.
That's nice. We'd like to see Virgil, please.
Who are you?
Grey Warden.
Fuck. Goes
Don't worry.
inside and
It's in everybody's interests.
all right, come on in.
Well, there's no reason to be coy about it at this point.
All right, so you're led into this open area. So it's essentially like a dock warehouse. So there's one wall completely open to the ocean where ships can dock, unload, reload, leave, etc. And so you see maybe about a dozen people. It's a mix of dwarves, humans, and elves. The one thing that really unites them is they all look like they can handle themselves in a fight.
My people.
Yeah, essentially. And so they're just hanging out, not doing much. And the dwarf at the door is like, "Oi, Virgil, you've got business with the wardens." And you hear another voice say, "The fuck I do."
And I shout back, "The fuck you do!"
You hear just swear, "Ancestors' titties." And so Virgil comes forward, and he does have a face tattoo. You have no idea if Felice is correct in that the tattoo signifies that he killed a noble. Um, you do see there's a woman with him, a human-looking woman. He himself is about late 30s, early 40s. So he's got like real dark hair that's just starting to go salt and pepper.
Wouldn't understand that.
That's not my problem, Brody.
So are you Virgil, or are you his? Are you the face of Virgil who's actually among this group?
If you're the warden, I'm Virgil.
I'm the warden. Best be Virgil.
Then I'm Virgil.
First, no harm, no bad. Not here to hurt you. Not here to deal with anything. Not here to conscript any of you explicitly. Just, and we can all chill, right? Can we take a seat?
Have a drink.
Love to. This is Jurgen. He's a bit of a stick in the mud, but he's solid people.
Fuck, I didn't know they made your kind wardens. I guess they'll take anyone, yeah?
They made a warden my kind.
We will take just about anybody, but that's actually kind of why I'm here.
How might humble Virgil be of assistance to the Grey Wardens?
Well, before make sure we're sitting and have a drink and everything, because there's ways to do this. So I'll start with the easy one. We need silverite.
Yeah, you and half the city.
Yeah. Well, half the city isn't trying to save the whole city. If you got leads, we can pay. But we need to get our hands on silverite fast.
Okay, look. You're wardens. I understand what you do. It's gonna take me a little bit of time.
Got it. I get it. Honestly, I've got people talking to the mucky mucks, but usually when I'm close to them, they end up either dying or getting itchy. So they said they didn't want me to go there. I'm here because I vastly prefer you to anybody who has a fancy robe up top.
Right, well, it's not the robes who have the silverite, it'd be the Templars. They work them into their swords. Why don't you just take what you need? You're a warden, you can do that.
Yeah, but they keep driving into me the idea that just because we can do it, we shouldn't. Unless we
If you need it that badly.
I'm making sure that if they can't get it from the Templars' tight anuses, we can get it somewhere else.
Look, the only other place within walking distance that you can get silverite is the Bone Pit. And let me tell you, it has earned its name.
That the mine?
Yep.
Well, if that's what it takes, that's what we're gonna do. But
it's your funeral. See, the thing is, it used to be a wyvern nesting ground, and then they discovered the silverite there. Every time the humans leave, the wyverns come back. Sometimes they don't even wait for the humans to leave.
Is a wyvern larger or smaller than an archdemon?
Fuck me. I don't want to think of anything bigger than an archdemon.
If I remember
I'm just
correctly.
giving you...
No, I appreciate it, but just trying to keep our options open, because we have a pretty high turnover rate on leadership, and I love the guy in charge now, but no guarantees from him.
Heroine,
look, I just want to make sure you know
correctly,
what you're walking into.
Heroine, if I recall correctly, Garrick has slain a wyvern.
He has.
Single-handedly.
Mm-hmm.
We should be fine.
It's an option. It's an option. But honestly, that's not the... I started with that because that's something that's fairly reasonable, an object of some value we can. The other thing I need is a blood mage.
Oh, fuck, you get right to the point, don't
And I
you?
look right at the woman.
She glares at you.
Look, I don't give two fucks about Templar theology. I know the chant at least as well as any of them, and none of it says that blood mages are fucked.
All right, look. Hypothetically, hypothetically, I might have someone with a specific skill set on my crew. Now, are we talking conscription or are we talking subcontractor?
I'd vastly prefer subcontractor, but if necessary, I would say conscription.
All right, okay, well, let's say this is a really valuable member of my crew, so let's not say conscription again unless we have to.
The only people I ever want to use that word for are people in fancy robes.
Cool, cool.
So yeah.
All right.
Subcontract. Let's or a one-time service arrangement.
Okay, so if we're not talking conscription and we're talking subcontractor, then we're talking contract fees.
Sure.
He looks a little surprised that you said yes that easy.
Oh, look, I could try and tell you no, you have to give her to me, and I do use the pronoun. You have to give her to me by right of conscription or the fate of the world. But honestly, I've already seen one tag fall to have to evacuate because of this blight. Enough people are going to go hungry. And I figure you might be more inclined to look out for people who might need a little bit of help because they can be useful to you. Right?
Which tag?
Orton.
Good.
I've heard rumors about your relationships, and you definitely don't look like you would have been living up above.
Dust Town.
I like Dusttown. I like the Dusttown in Orton Tag. I like the fact that every single person down there understood what they were facing and that they were willing to fight. I like the fact that we were able to arrange a way for people in Dusttown to be able to have their children not have to be there.
Alright, look, I can get behind that. I remember what it was like in the Tykes. I remember what it was like in the Deep Roads. Give me a minute. And so he and the woman step away, and you can see them having a pretty heated discussion. And then so eventually, after about 5 minutes of just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, she finally throws her hands up and comes and sits down.
About 2 minutes in, I start humming a tune of conciliation and cooperation, and
Okay.
I'm working toward my spell. Okay.
Okay. So, 5 minutes in, comes back, sits down like, and this is the woman, who, as you look at her, she does have, so she's got like round human ears, human build, but she also has like very delicate bone structure.
Mm-hmm. I can see the elvish ancestry, even though it's not a primary feature.
Yes. And so she sits down and just looks at you with cold black eyes. Like, all right, 50 sovereigns, half now, half when I get back. 1 week max.
Have to talk to the person with the actual purse, but it shouldn't be a problem. Although, does it change the math any to know that if we fail, we're probably all going to die immediately?
We're all about to die immediately.
That's fair. I just wanted to see if I could knock off a few sovereigns from that one.
I am not a sentimental person.
Gasp, shock, amazement.
All right, those are my terms. Go talk to your quartermaster or purse master or whatever.
Will do. See you soon. Wink. Hey, Jurgen, I think I found somebody that might actually click with you.
I get along with everybody.
Yeah, but God, I can't even imagine what that would look like. Sound like. And so I will go back and wait to let Garrick know what the bill is gonna be.
All right, so speaking of, we switch the camera to Garrick and Rayla. So, you are in the first enchanter's office. A man is brought to you. He looks to be in about late 20s. And Garrick, you especially recognize the villager look. And so, especially because he's wearing mage robes, but he's clearly not used to them. They just sort of hang off him in a weird sort of way. So he walks in and he's like, "What?"
Kennard?
Who are you?
Wardens.
Shit. I didn't do it.
We're not saying you did. My name's Raylath. How long ago was it that you were brought here by the Templars?
About 3 years? Give or take. I don't know. It's hard to keep track of the days when you're in prison. And he says in prison, like with like an emphasis, and he's looking at Sabrina as he says it, and she just rolls her eyes like this is an argument they've had before and she's not engaging.
3 years, still haven't quite gotten used to the robes, huh?
Nope.
To be fair,
Are
they
you here
don't look
to critique
particularly
my
comfortable.
fashion?
No.
I thought you had
More-
a blight to fight.
I'm more commiserating
Oh.
with you.
Fuck, am I being conscripted? Am I being conscripted, Sabrina?
She doesn't have any say over that, so focus on us.
Depends on how useful you can be to us. I mean, our cage is a little bit freer. More open air, you could say.
Am I being conscripted?
Would you want to be?
One cage for another, isn't it?
Well,
No.
it's one cage for, it's more so trading in a cage for free-range servitude.
We give a little bit more rope.
Oh, and what would I have to do?
Well, it depends on if you can help us out. It's something that your current leash holders wouldn't approve of anyway.
How did you avoid the Templars for so long?
I was clever until I wasn't.
I
How were you
suppose that's a
clever?
fairly common story.
How were you clever?
I don't think a non-mage would ever understand.
Well, luckily, I happen to be a mage myself, so maybe you can try me.
Grey Wardens, yeah. Things you're allowed to do. Other people can't.
Yes, like practice magic without necessarily being a member of this.
Without concern of the magic you do, as long as it's beneficial to us.
Sure, couple drops here and there. No one notices.
Well, we happen to be in need of somebody with that set of
Talents.
So I am being conscripted.
No. If you tell us to walk away and you want to have nothing to do with it, then I'm not inclined to force you into anything. You've already had that happen enough to you in your lifetime. I can't speak for my commander, but that's my take on it.
If you aren't useful to us, we won't conscript you. Are you going to be useful to us?
Look, I was straight with you. You be straight with me. What the fuck do you want?
We need a blood mage.
We need one to help in a ritual that will prevent something from getting out.
Alright, like, in Tventer, or why are you in Kirkwall?
It's
Well,
here.
the blight happens everywhere, so.
Alright, so you need a blood mage, but I'm not being conscripted.
Your conscription is your choice. If you tell us that you can be used by us, we'll gladly take you away from here.
I think the miscommunication here is whether or not Kennard wants to be conscripted. You're sort of phrasing it as a threat. If you tell us you can do what we want, we're going to take you. Which I can totally understand him feeling as if that is less than ideal.
I'm
So,
trying to figure
Kennard.
out if I get a better or worse deal with you than I have right now.
Well, you don't seem particularly happy here. At least that's
Well,
the sense I'm getting. Am I wrong?
sure. Yeah, it sucks here. Sorry, Sabrina, but it does.
Well, if you can help us out, we can get you out of here.
You trade
Whether or
gray
not-
walls for gray clothes. You would be of service to someone other than yourself, ultimately, in either way. But if you come with us, that service is actually to mankind at large, rather than to the version of mankind that the Chantry happens to approve of.
Plus, as previously stated, we don't really care what kinds of magic you do, so you wouldn't need to hide your practices.
Alright. How much room do I have here to negotiate?
Well, my understanding is that we can't remove you from the premises here without it eventually coming back to you. Correct? They have your blood, they would find you. They're unlikely to simply allow you to walk free, even if we were to tell them to do so without us officially
Yeah, but you're a
enacting
warden,
conscription.
right?
Yes.
So, Yeah, you've got the right of conscription.
Right, which means we can take you away from here, but it won't be freedom as you are would probably prefer.
But you could,
Uh,
it's not just people, it's things, right? You could
Yes,
tell Sabrina I'm
Yes.
conscripting his phylactery, right?
Oh, you're a smart one. All right. I like him. He's coming with us. His phylactery too.
is there any precedent for that kind of thing?
Um, Go ahead and give me. What would this be? What sort of lores? Do you have arcane lore?
I have arcane lore.
Go ahead and give me that roll.
Okay. So what is that? +4, and then do I
This would just
have
be a 13.
Okay, and I have the lore talent as well. So additional info on successful lore focus rolls, which this is going to be. So that's going to
Okay.
be +4. Okay. Boom. Only a 12. That's unfortunate.
Well, Mel Adams has given a benevolence, so you can add in 1d6 to that roll if you would like.
Sure, why not?
Okay. So whatever you roll would.
All right, 18.
Well
Thank you.
done.
Thank you, Mel.
Thank you, Mel. Yeah, so essentially, so when you conscript someone, when you ask them to join the Grey Wardens, essentially the Templars have to let them go. There's no real destruction or turning over of the phylactery, but it's sort of this understanding that the Templars no longer have authority to fuck with the Templar anymore. It seems what this guy is asking for is extra insurance. So he
Yeah, I mean,
might try and do a runner at first opportunity if his phylactery has been destroyed.
Oh no, I was asking for his phylactery so we could take it.
Yes, so you are within your rights to. It's a little unorthodox. It's a little weird, but it is legal for you to request. We're taking him and his phylactery. I'm so sorry, Brody. It's what it's called.
You know what? It's baked into our culture.
I don't know a better word for it.
So we got Kennard and the Lichness.
his reliquary.
Okay, that's a better one.
Kennard is down to the lickness.
All right.
Okay.
Just so you know, Kennard, were we to enact the right of conscription for you, that would not be something we would simply forget about and let you go. There are expectations. There are there are social standards.
Requirements.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure. Fight
So-
the blight. What about when the blight's over? What happens then?
You fight less
No, you-
blight.
But you never stop being a Grey Warden.
Never stop being a mage either.
I know that all too well. All right. Well, if you're willing to undergo the joining and assist us with what we need, then I'm gonna look at Sabrina and see if I can gauge her opinion on all this.
Sabrina has had to survive for many, many years in a chantry, and so her face is very, very placid. You could roll communication to try and figure out any sort of deeper emotion that she's got.
Sure, why not? Ooh, that's 4 stunt points, right?
Oh yeah.
That
Well
it
done.
is.
Let's see. What can you do for role-playing stunts? I know that there's a list of them. I have not looked at them. Sorry. Stunts, right there. And no, okay. Stunts role-playing 131. I wrote down combat and spell stunts. I was not expecting to need role-playing stunts. Sorry.
The role-playing stunts, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's pinned in the Discord channel.
Oh, okay. I'm on the page in the book, so.
Okay.
Do any of these? I don't know if any of these really apply. Yeah, I don't know that any of them apply. So.
Okay. All right. So I'll just give you a little more yeah, so I'll give you a little more information. So,
Okay.
essentially, you can tell that she cares about this mage. Like, not necessarily in a romantic way, but like the way a teacher cares for a student. And she is pretty sure that this is one of the best ways for him to like not die. So she's sort of hoping that this works out. And you can also see a little bit of sadness.
For herself or for Kennard?
For Kennard.
Okay. All right.
And
well
so,
then,
as you're discussing this with Kennard, what he says is, all right, and I want one more thing. So looks to Sabrina and says, you've got to conscript Baylor too.
Excuse me?
I don't know how good a Tranquil would be at being a warden. But, yeah, they made him Tranquil for no good reason. And I want him out of here.
Sabrina's saying this?
No, Kennard is.
Oh, I thought Sabrina was saying that. Okay. Well, while I can respect that, it's more about what Baylor wants than what you want.
He's
Okay,
fucking Tranquil.
Relath. You haven't spent a lot of time around Jurgen, but you'll find out. It's very, very basic what they want. It's usually food and water. And a place to pee.
I promise you, before he was Tranquil, he would have wanted to come with me. And he looks to Sabrina when he says that, and she's like, nods like, yeah.
All right. Commander, do you have any objections to that?
None at all. Let's make this the most raucous bunch of tranquil we ever have.
Should we speak with Jacqueline? Do you know if she would be inclined to accompany us?
I just look at Sabrina to see what she has to say.
I can have her brought if you would like to speak with her as well.
We're here. Let's not have to make a second trip.
All right, Kennard, I guess if maybe you want to go talk to Baylor and explain to him what's going on.
Pack your things.
So Kennard leaves, and again, you've got a couple minutes with Sabrina if you want to talk to her about anything else as you wait for a runner to go fetch Jacqueline.
Have anything?
Well, first enchanter, you seem to have some idea as to who would be open to this arrangement. This is something that can be an open invitation to you.
I wouldn't want you to conscript half my tower away. What would be left for me then? But I will say that as much as I tried to give you your privacy, I did overhear Kennard admit blood magic. A drop is still a drop is still a drop, and there won't be a lot I can do to unhear that when the time comes.
Well, he'll soon be a Grey Warden. He won't be your concern.
Oh, alright.
Oh, you kind of went robotic for me
He
there for a
was,
second. Can you say that again?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I suppose you should also know, if you're going to be traveling with them both, Kennard and Baylor. Well, you take what happiness you can when you're stuck here, can't you? And if you find love, well, you sort of won the whole game, haven't you? He didn't take Baylor becoming tranquil very well at all.
Hmm.
Just
Well,
so you know his history. Their history, I suppose. It's different now. Of course it is. But I can tell Kennard still cares.
well, thank you for letting us know. We'll make sure to accommodate that as best we can. But, as I said, should you know of any other inductees to your situation here that aren't going to fit well, but might benefit from something a little bit more free range, don't hesitate to get in contact.
We call them apprentices. And I think you'd have to destroy every Chantry tower in the whole of Thedas.
Well, once we finish with this blight, maybe that'll be next on my agenda.
Well then, I wish you well, Warden. And so...
oh, would you mind retrieving their phylacteries for us, please? Or, excuse me, sorry, their reliquaries, please.
Well, I suppose they've been conscripted, and I can't tell a Warden no. I'll be right back. And so she leaves, and so there's another woman brought in. So she's very dark-haired, has it very carefully done, and unlike Kennard, you know, she cares very, very much about her appearance, essentially. So her robes are very nice, very well tailored, sort of matching her hair, and so she comes in escorted by a Templar. Oui? There were wardens here?
Yeah. Rayloth actually happens to speak Orlesian, so he's going to speak to her in Orlesian. Just the formalities, greeting, that kind of thing, before
Okay.
switching over to trade tongue. He says, "You." Raylith probably takes no small amount of very, very clear pleasure in dismissing the Templar from the room.
Okay.
And
All right. He doesn't look happy, but he goes.
Commander, you want to do this, or I'm happy to. I don't want to step on toes.
Oh, go ahead. Let's see what you've got. I haven't gotten to see you work. I've seen Harrow. We'll just call it work.
Jacqueline, correct? Is your name?
Lee.
Raylaf, Commander, out of character. It's Garrick, right?
Yes, Garrick.
Okay. Commander Garrick. We are, as you said, wardens, and we are here to conscript one of your fellows. We thought while we were here, it was mentioned that you are a very gifted spirit mage, and we thought we would offer you the opportunity to join us if that was something of interest to you.
Oh, I am not a warrior, not at all. The art of spirit magic, it is very, very internal. I cannot throw fireballs across the battlefield.
I myself am a spirit mage as well, and while you're correct, throwing fireballs isn't exactly possible. It lends itself well if you learn how to direct it in such a way. But again, this isn't a demand. This is simply an offer in case this was an avenue you wish to pursue.
Oh, am I being conscripted?
Only if you would like to leave this place.
Oh, it is difficult sometimes to live here under the eyes of the Templars, but oh, you are asking me to choose between Templars and Darkspawn.
I know. It's not exactly a fair choice, and I guess when you get right down to it, it's not much of a choice at all. But there are differences in the arrangements that some people might appreciate. So.
Oh, I do not know. I
Well,
am not used to battle.
and that's fair. There's no judgment if you choose not to pursue that path. Not everyone is suited to take the battlefield. Out of character, is there easy ways, like, are there spells that allow for long distance communication?
Not really. So there's one way. If you have an Alluvion, there's like 5 of them in the world.
Okay. All right. So basically messengers and, like, carrier pigeons.
Pretty much, yes.
Okay. Do you have access? I'll ask in character. Do you have access to sending messages if you should so desire?
Oh, yes. I can always ask the first enchanter to send a letter for me. I mean, they read the letters first, but I can send them.
All right. Is the first enchanter back yet?
Yeah, she'll be back within a couple minutes.
Okay. Well, we can leave the offer open. Should you think on it and decide that you would like to join us ultimately, send us a letter.
Oui. Thank you so much for the consideration.
Take care.
All right, so she scurries away, and Sabrina hands a wooden box, and you can sort of hear a little rattle. Wardens, as requested.
I'm gonna make sure that the commander has that. That is a responsibility I do not want to take.
Oh yes, I take it. Don't worry.
Okay. And the Templars also they escort Kennard and another young mage who's got the same forehead brand as Jurgen. Well,
It looks like my
Wardens.
backdrop.
Indeed.
Oh wow, yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
Nifty.
Is there any further business that we have?
I don't think so.
Well,
None that
then,
comes to mind.
I hand over the 2 new conscripts, Wardens. I wish both of you the best.
Thank
Wish
you
you the
for the
best as
information.
well.
Oh,
We'll be sure to keep your we'll be sure to keep them safe.
There's a blight. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to keep that promise, but I appreciate you trying to make it anyway.
thank you for your cooperation.
We nod and head off.
Well, that went
Lucifer!
much
Yep.
better than expected.
So we
Yep,
figured out
okay,
where to
bye-bye.
get Silverite and a Blood Mage. Harold's really
Okay.
gonna have to try hard to pass this up.
Speaking of, unless anyone has anything further they'd like to do, we can fast forward to you reuniting at the Hanged Man. So the scene is yours.
So, how'd you do?
50%.
I know where we can find Silverite. And I know people who can help us get it. Also, I'm going to need 50 sovereigns.
That's a steep price. What's that for?
Why?
A blood mage who actually knows what she's doing.
Cool, I just saved us 50 sovereigns.
You found one who's competent?
Well, he evaded the Templars for a decade and then lived amongst them for 3 years and was never suspected of being a blood mage. So there's got to be something there.
Okay. Hey, if you're good with that, I'm thinking we might need more than one just to be safe.
I don't think that's a bad idea. Actually, I think I agree with.
Honestly,
Harold.
50 sovereigns for the assistance of somebody who knows what they're doing, and as a backup.
If they're a backup, couldn't we get them to drop the price?
You haven't met them? No, I don't think they're gonna drop the price.
Plus, is this really something we want to be haggling over?
No, this woman makes Jurgen seem like bubbly beverage.
I'm just kind of looking like.
Let me ask this: do we have 50 sovereign available to us?
That's what I was gonna say. Do we need to pay it all at once?
25 up front, 25 after the job.
It would definitely take a bite out of your budget.
Nobody's told the Herald exactly what our budget is anyways. So as far as he's concerned, the Grey Wardens have infinite money. Like,
yeah, I've never actually been told the budget either, and now I'm the boss. So
if we do not wish to conscript money, jobs are usually available for people with swords and weapons.
So I ask around, how much money do we have on hand?
I have 13 silver.
I don't have any money because y'all took me when I was arrested.
And how many silver is a sovereign? 10?
I think it's more than that.
Mhm.
10?
I think it's
Let me check the exchange rate.
It's either 10 or 100.
Oof.
I think 100 probably is copper to a sovereign.
100 coppers to a silver.
Yeah, it's 100 copper to a silver. Let's see. Maybe it's under exchange rate.
Yeah, you're correct. 100 to 100.
Oh God.
Oof.
Well, it's a good thing that you got one for free.
That's why when you agreed right off the bat, I was like, oh, like, oh, my heart.
Okay.
Hey, Harold is very generous, but he doesn't have to pay.
All right.
Really good at spending other people's money.
Hey, you know what? Harold
you-
never seen a sovereign in his life.
So, as you are having this discussion, two members of the town guard come into the Hanged Man, and they seek you out. Grey Wardens.
Yes.
How can we help you, Fuzz?
The Viscountess will meet with you at your earliest convenience.
Wonderful. I think that's now.
Oh, Daddy Moorbucks.
Oh,
I mean,
cool.
yes.
Yeah, no, out of curiosity, did you figure out the ingot issue without having to go mine it yourself?
Oh, speaking of, you're gonna go mining.
Who are you talking to?
Harold was talking to me, and I just responded directly to him.
Okay.
I
All
think
right.
we're
Well,
in the place has wyverns.
the
You are an expert at wyverns, Commander.
So, the conversation with the Viscountess, and any exploration of the bone pit will have to wait, because we are running up on time. So, I just want to say thank you all so much for playing. Thank you for our wonderful audience. It is always a pleasure to have you around. Thank you, especially Mel, for the benevolence. That was really nice. So if we just really quickly want to do who we are and where you can be found on the internet and when we can see your faces next.
Hello, everybody. My name is Steve. Pronouns are he, him. You can find me on Rachel's Discord server under the same name that's on the screen, Voodoo Arcade. I play the framed game almost every day. I haven't gotten a one guess in a couple of weeks, and I'm getting sad. So come cheer me on. Other than that, I'll be here on Friday for Blade Runner, and it's a good game.
Hello and goodbye, one and all. I too play the framed game every so often, except my score is usually bad. But anyway, you can find me online at Sorta Sullied, and next time you'll be able to see me is tonight, but next week tonight for this very same game.
Hi, I am Brody, he, they. You can find me at the Raba1 on Twitter. You will also be able to see me again at same Kirkwall time, same Kirkwall channel next week, where I will look forward to causing as many headaches as possible for Garrett.
Hi, everybody. Ben Ravensdale. I'm playing Rayleth. You can find me. Easiest way to find me is stick around for an hour because I'm going to be playing in the Curse of Strahd game that is on this channel at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Time. You can also find me on my channel on Twitch on Tuesday evenings usually. It's Ravensdale Publishing. You can also search that on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and we'll pop up. So, yeah, thanks very much for joining us. And thank you, Rachel, for running.
Thank you. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you again. My name is Rachel. You can find me Stolen Fires pretty much everywhere on the internet. And we have a really cool week planned out for you. So yes, in just under an hour, we've got Curse of Strahd. She is the Ancient. That's a lot of fun. And we're going to be featuring the return of Selkie. Hooray! She can finally make it back. If you want more Dragon Age content, then swing by on Wednesday as I play through Dragon Age 2 on stream. Thursday, Ben will be running Solid Metal, his Battletech game with the Fate system. And on Friday, we will be playing more Electric Memory, a Blade Runner story. So follow on Twitter and Instagram for more news, and we will see you all next week.
Bye, everybody. Have a good week.
Bye.
Happy Monday.